Thank you. Okay. Let me just. Okay. There we go. Okay. I'm just getting the chat open. Okay. There we go. Oh, you did zoom in on the Pikachu. No. Okay. Paul, take it away.
All right. Soren, hello.
Hello.
Hello. Hi.
We have taken over Tongjae's channel.
Jay, can you mute? We can hear you.
Bye, Jay.
Jay, mute. Hello. Chiz. Can Jay hear us? Jay, you need the mute.
Maybe he has here. Jay,
Okay.
please.
So yeah, we are covering Paige versus Alyssa today. Well, we're just getting through the opening here. Soren, should we go back to the beginning?
Yes, but how about let's be formal. Let's assume nobody knows who we are, okay? So
Okay.
who are you? Tell us
My
about you.
name is Paul. I also stream Go from time to time by the name Midnight the Blue. And I'm, somewhere between Dawn and 30Q. So
He's somewhere in the entire ranks spectrum. That's where he is.
yeah.
Also, you were a part of this, weren't you? You played in this team match?
Yes, I played in the team match. I played against Howard, and I took Howard down. I beat him, and he was very salty, and it almost immediately challenged me to a Jubongo, which is kind of crazy.
Got that competitive spirit, I guess. Yeah, I'm Soren. I am not in Columbus, but I am in Ohio. So you'll see me at a bunch of Ohio tournaments. If you've been to any. And I am 6 down AGA. And yeah, I've actually talking about the players now. I've actually played Paige a couple times now. I don't know much about the white player, Alyssa. So yeah, but they're a bit into the game now. You ready to jump in?
I am
Paul?
so ready.
I hope you have your questions ready because I have my questions ready for you. I'm going to need you to explain this to me. So
love the opening, and the opening is very fun to think about. But yes, Pikachu is here.
Pikachu, yes.
Pikachu looks amazing.
Katie,
We love Pikachu.
Tell Jay to mute. Okay, there we go. Okay, so let's get going. Paige is black, and Alyssa's white. Also, Paige is representing Ohio, and Alyssa's representing New York. And also, Paul, how many players are left on each team? Because we're getting down to the meat of the matter, aren't we?
Yeah, I believe Columbus has 3 people left. Paige, Eric, and Ed, right? And then New York City also has 3 people left, but I have no idea who's on New York City.
They have no idea? Okay.
And
I know
there
one
is
of
no
them, Alan,
bias
right?
on this stream, and we are completely neutral.
Yes, straight down the middle. Straight down the middle. 2 Ohio commentators straight down the middle. Okay. I know one of the New York players is Alan, though. So he's kind of like their final boss. I know that much at least. Okay. Cool. Okay. So far, pretty standard. The page does this, and so already we are off of standard, aren't we? So Paul, can you tell me anything about this? Anything at all? What do you think of this?
This is an enclosure of the corner.
That's true. That's true.
I think doesn't this one have a name? It's like something like the dragon enclosure or something.
I think so, actually. I can say firmly I have never played this and have never studied it. So I do not know the name or anything like that. Fun fact, about 3 months ago, I think, I played Paige in tournament. And believe it or not, this was the exact opening. I was white in that game. This was the exact opening we did. I believe in that game, I approached, or I enclosed here, and then I think Paige immediately jumped in to the 3-3. But yeah, This is something that I know Paige likes to play. This is something I know Paige likes to play.
Well, it's kind of a
Um,
cool opening to have in your arsenal, you know? If you can surprise
yes.
an opponent, then
Yep.
maybe you can get a slight lead. So,
Yes, exactly. If and that's kind of where if like obviously all the AI stuff is nice, um, and studying with AI, but they don't recommend openings like this, right? They don't recommend what you call this to dragon, and so if you can study an opening that maybe to an AI might be subpar, but we're not AIs, so maybe somebody who only studies with AI or knows the AI openings, if you can do something like this, then you can throw your opponent off guard, and that's why I say if you have a choice between playing an opening that an AI favors, but you don't understand or not understand completely, compared to one that maybe is slightly disadvantageous according to AI, but you prefer, it's better to go with the one you're comfortable with. So, hey, Paige likes this, then Paige should play it. Paige should play it. And I doubt the AI is like, oh, you know, Black can't win this game now, right? Because we're only 5 moves in. So
yeah, the AI would see that Page was playing and say, "Oh, let's give a 5% increase for win probability." So,
exactly. Also, in the chat, thank you, Dusk Eagle. Right now, it is just Paige and Eric versus Alyssa and Alan. So there's 2 players left on each team. So that makes it even more exciting. Makes it even more exciting. Because you guys have how many players on each team? It's like 15 or 20, right?
yeah, it
Something like
started
that.
with a lot. I
Yeah,
mean, this tournament's going on for, like, maybe 2, 3 months,
right,
so quite a while.
right, and even with people had streaks, people had win streaks that people just lost and left, right? Somehow it came down to 2-2, um, which is kind of crazy, honestly. Um, but yes, White invades 3-3 at 16 each. Okay, started with Baby Me at 15K. um, and so similarly, again, we can maybe not assume, but it's a high chance that because I had no clue. I'd seen it, but I'm not familiar with this lower right Shamari. You shouldn't really do anything. You should still keep to what you know as well. So White, not really considering the lower right, just says, "Okay, I'm just gonna play what I know." So White just plays 3-3. hmm And as we know, Paul, Joseki choice here kind of matters, but kind of doesn't because it's so flexible now that as long as you stick with Joseki, you're most likely good, right?
Well, yeah,
Most likely.
but I do know this is
Mhm.
sort of an offering for the flying knife, which is
Yes,
no easy Joseki, so
that is true. Now, it is possible, and the flying knife starts with this move next. Um, it is possible at this stage for Black to avoid it. Uh, and if I'm Black here, I avoid it. Fun fact: somebody on the Ohio team, actually, Eric Yoder, um, uh, in 2020, I played him at the first Midwest Open, actually. Um, and I was feeling brave, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to do the flying knife. Um, and I lost in like 100 moves. So ever since then, I've vowed off of playing the flying knife in tournaments. So thank you, Eric. But yeah, there are ways for Black to avoid at this point. But yes, that's why usually you'll just see this, like to completely avoid it. But yeah, but White just plays the simple extend and connect under. Approach, sure. Final unfinished corner. This makes sense. And again, nowadays opening is so easy. Um, like here, before AI, pre-AI, it was like, okay, how should you pincer this? Like you could play this, you could play this. What about this? Right? What about this? There's so many options, but nowadays, just play this one.
yeah, just take the points, right?
Just take the points exactly. In fact, I've seen on twitch.tv/midnight the blue, um, you often will just say, I'm just gonna take the points. I'll just take
Yeah,
the points.
gotta
And
take
because
that
that's
cash money.
gonna take that cash money, yes, especially as White, because White has 7.5 points in Comey. So Black didn't do this one, but let's say Black did. This is considered like a 15-ish point corner. And so you can see White already has 22-ish points because the upper right can be reduced still. And black doesn't really have anything yet. So yeah, it's quite. Yeah, just take the points exactly. And so the last time I did commentary, I unfortunately forget the players, but it was actually with commentary with Katie, who's in the chat right now. Um, what was funny about that game just turned into a giant bloodbath, um, with a lot of swings as well. It was quite an exciting game. Um, and I mentioned this because if you've ever played Paige or seen one of Paige's games, it's not going to go to counting. Most likely, this game is going to come down to a huge middle game fight. And that's because that's the kind of game Paige likes to play. So, yeah, this game will also most likely be a very complicated middle game fight, which Midnight the Blue, I'm going to need your assistance with. Okay,
Okay,
okay.
yeah. I'm a sharp reader
Sharper,
sometimes.
I've seen you. I've seen you. So, yes. So, what do you think of Black's choice here? So like black could just do this, right? And then
Yeah,
whether
that's
black extends all the way or extends the normal length or extends all the way, black chooses this. Why do you think black chooses this direction?
yeah, I mean, that direction obviously is communicating with the dragon enclosure on the right side of the board there. So I think that might be part of it.
Mhm.
Also, this is right potentially what can go into the avalanche, right? I think
Yes. And speaking of openings that can be complicated, like the flying knife, the avalanche is another. There's basically four main kind of. I call them quadrant Josekis because they literally fill up an entire quadrant of the board. You have the Taisha. Uh, you have what is it? Is it the Great Sword? I believe. And then you have the Flying Knife in the upper right, or here we have the Avalanche, right?
yeah.
So this is another. If you can study this, you can have an advantage. Now again, and this is very similar to how I would play, is I also try to avoid the Avalanche, and so to avoid it, you can play what White played, right? Avalanche starts when White Hane's here, right? And we get this kind of variation like this, right? This is kind of the start of it. But if you want to avoid this, you can simply just extend here. Um, yeah. And technically, I think there's an avalanche variation where black still goes here and then cut, something like this. But generally, this is white saying, I don't want to do the avalanche. I don't want to do the avalanche. So again, if you don't know these Josekis, they can cost games. So it makes sense if you're not comfortable with them to just not even deal with them. Don't mess with them. Because again, since they do fill up a whole quadrant, they can cost you the entire game. So
Yeah, and Alyssa knows probably Paige is a fighter. Maybe
yes,
Alyssa did
that's
her
true too.
research, you know?
That's true. Yeah.
Very possible.
Because Paige also not only is she a teacher, she's also a streamer, right? I believe, and has a
Yeah, she
YouTube now.
streams time to time, yeah.
So yeah, so I'm sure there is rumblings of Paige's style, and yeah, so you can see Paige potentially picking Flying Knife and Avalanche because they are fighting Josekis. So attach, black fixes, and now we get to this move.
Whoa, what a
Yeah.
move.
Now, I was mentioning earlier how I was playing a game with Paige in tournaments. It was in for you Ohioans. It was outside of Dayton. It was outside of Dayton. Um, and while we are not on the same branch anymore that I played in that game, here we have a difference in. I don't even know what you want to call it. All I want to say is in my game, how I dealt with this lower right corner is I ignored it the entire game. I never played to that corner because it's almost like a bear trap. I know black wants me to jump in somehow, but I'm just not going to do it. I'm just not going to do it. So here we see white jumping in. And remember, black played the lower left Joseki to get some strength. And black has the upper right Joseki to also have some potential strength. So white is giving black a potential target. So I think white should still be a little patient and just kind of keep playing standard, quote unquote standard opening moves. Again, I don't know Alyssa's style. Maybe she likes to fight as well. But yeah, white comes in because now black, we can see black can start attacking. Now, smartly here, white jumps because to avoid being under attack, we stay light. So instead of just standing up, now we have to save everything.
Yeah.
But by jumping, we can see black clamps, which looks like a very nice move. All of a sudden, the entire corner is solid. White's able to treat it lightly, like so.
I kind of like
Um,
the way Alyssa handled this. Yeah,
yes,
but very
yes,
lightly. And I kind of understand Alyssa wanting to go into the corner because it looks like Black's building a scary moyo,
hmm
one side or the other. So
hmm
I'd have the urgency to want to go in as well.
Okay, yeah, and it's hard to fight. It is hard to fight. It's again different in styles. You're playing the I already have enough points, so if I just get rid of black's points, I'll have enough. I like to play the black's gonna get points. I'm gonna get points. I'll just make sure I get more points kind of way. Um, we can see here though, after white plays n3, black gets a very nice extension from the lower left, which is also, of course, a pincer. So here, I would still treat this entire lower right white stones lightly. I would actually play some move like k3. If black wants to maybe extend here, or maybe black can shoulder hit, then I'm going to attack black's lower left side. And black really doesn't want to extend here somehow, right? It's too cramped, right? Like black doesn't want to do this.
Yeah.
There's still in fact leaves Aji of this peep. So
Yeah.
this is a very uncomfortable move for black. So I would lean towards getting k3 as white.
I like K3. You're always thinking about what you can attack. I like that.
Yes. Indeed. Yeah, and we could just see when black gets k3, black's now the one that makes the base, and white still has no base. I don't know where white goes. I would kind of fly into the center, something like this, but let's see what white does. Oh, white goes completely elsewhere. Okay. Okay. And again, there's a way to simplify the upper right if you play Atari and descend, like so. But white says, I want to fight here.
Yeah, I find this cut very interesting because White had been trying to keep things very simple in the
Yes.
game so far. So this move kind of changes that narrative up.
Yeah, it does. It does. White's yeah, before even like the shoulder hit in the lower right, white was all on the third line, right? White is just okay with cash, but now white is fighting here. So we'll see what happens. Extend, yep, that's the only move. Play there, yep. Extend. White extends. This is all Joseki again. Extend there. I believe here. Hmm. I think you need to make this exchange first. Whether you play the full or just now jump, because if white Hanes, I believe there's really bad Aji of this cut, like so.
Hmm.
As we can see, if black ends up trying to capture here, white gets to squeeze, right? And that we can just tell looks pretty bad for black, right?
That's kind of fun though.
Yes, this is a very famous tombstone Tetsuji.
Yeah.
Um, so black can't Hane here because we can see if black Ataris, white can still extend like so, and black still needs to block and white can capture there, and that's very painful. So even if black has to make that exchange, then that's enough gain for white in the corner. Thor's hammer, yes. That's already a great exchange for white. So I think black needs to make this exchange now. Again, whether you do this or directly just jump next, now you can see now you have time to Atari, like so. White can't countercut now.
So you think, yeah, White should Hane here instead of just jump.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, because it even is directly threatening to capture as well. Like black's 3 stones are in danger.
Yeah.
Black jumps. Yes, and then white pincers. Yep, and extends.
White even has another chance. Like the Hane is kind of like still a move available. So I'm in anticipation if White's gonna get
Yes.
it.
Yes, white should really be, mhm, yes. Turn on the stones, okay, gotcha. Is that better? Oh, let me just, place some
Hmm,
stones,
we're
there
really
we go.
clacking some stones on the Goban.
Not better? I'm gonna assume so, okay. For a second, I thought I was gonna say turn off your music, I was like, "Uh-oh, I'm sorry for what you've been listening to," but okay. Let's see. So here, this is the fun part. Where should black play now then? Where do you
Wait,
think, Paul?
what music are you listening
Okay,
to?
thank you. Um, don't worry about it.
Because you said, "What do you mean, sorry?"
Don't worry about it.
Okay, okay.
Yes. Yeah, what do you think of this position?
Well, okay, obviously, as black, I want to run with my weak group. My first thought is to attach to the H17 stone or just play something like K15, although that feels a little awkward because of the double peep.
Yes. And
So I'd probably attach because I don't like the double peep.
gotcha. Okay, yeah. So you're saying you want to do this, but you don't like this.
Yeah.
So you would attach. Okay. Yeah, I think attach is possible. Um, yeah, I think attach is possible. The key is if white bumps here, you just need to stand up like so,
Mm.
because whenever white keeps pushing, white is weakening their 3 stones on the outside there. Um, yeah. Now, black, I think black had a similar train of thought as you. Is they wanted to play something like this, but they didn't like the shape, so instead, black attached. Black attached.
Mm.
Um, yes. White hot is on the inside. Okay. Okay. Is that? Hmm. Yes. Okay. What is white doing with this move? What do you think, Paul?
The P13 move?
Yes.
Well, obviously, white is running with their group
Hmm.
and leaning against the black group on the right. It is
Yes.
a little surprising. I don't understand the exchange of L16 for K16.
Mhm.
That seems a little weird to me, but
Yeah. And I agree. So this move is setting up, I think, if black just like pulls back, this cutting on this side,
hmm.
where the idea is if black extends, I can connect, black needs to fix, and then I can extend in the center. And this exchange here is helpful for me. And if black tries to counterattack, that's kind of white's idea. And that's why white Hane's first. White Hane's first to see how black's going to play. Um, yeah, to see how black's going to play. If you play here first, black might just ignore completely, but two might play differently as well. So it's an order of moves things. White plays here to see how black's going to play. Now that white's gained that information, white's like, okay, now I know I can cut here, but I don't want to cut immediately, so let me prepare first, like so. So that's the idea with this move. But yes, you're 100% right. White is leaning on this side to attack this side.
Hmm.
Very good fighting technique, Paul. Very good fighting technique.
Yeah, this move is deeper than I thought. I like your commentary. It's you're a prophet and a magician.
Well, let's see what happens. Let's see what happens. Yeah, so look at that. Um, black knew white was looking to cut, so yeah, black went there. And the reason why black can play here as well is if white hanes, again, it's painful, but when black actually jumps here, this helps the shape. This helps black's shape here. And if white hanes, black can always make this exchange, and this is what happens in the game. White really is forced to Atari. White doesn't, but white would really like to. And now black can most likely live like so.
Hmm.
White pushes. Okay. Yes, that's a very good move actually. Yeah.
Yeah, threatens to
Um,
capture the 3 stones and
yes, and it even asks black a question. If you block like this, then I can connect later. If you cut, then I can peep. And if you just connect, which that's what page does, so you don't give forcing moves, we can see exchanging M18 for L17 is very good. Um, and now that white has pushed as well, white is alive in the corner. So white actually can now consider something else. Maybe, yeah, Atari like this. Yeah. So, yeah. What do you think of
Wow.
this result?
This
What do you
Alyssa player, yeah, I feel like these are some good moves.
Yeah.
I'm impressed.
Yeah. Who do you like here? Who do you think
I mean,
wins here?
obviously, no bias. Paige is a great fighter and a great Go player and
Yes.
very fast. So I don't know if time will play a role in this game, but Paige is very good with time. So Paige, standard all around. Know nothing about Alyssa except these moves, but so far I will say I'm impressed by these moves.
Yes. And of course,
Which
we're
was
talking
not
about
taken aside at all, but I like White's flavor. So right now I like White
you
just
like
because
white?
I
Yeah,
like their
I
flavor of
like
move.
white as well actually. Yeah, getting this Atari here feels very painful. And and you mentioned Paige doesn't like to use time. Apparently, according to Tongjae, apparently Paige is spending time to think. So yeah, it's interesting because as you said, Paige really doesn't. Even in tournaments, like I've played Paige and I'm always low on time, and I'm a fast player, and even against Paige, I'm low on time. So lower on time, I mean. But yeah, this will allow Black to Hane here. I would really want a Hane, but I can understand um, Black extending first because technically this move isn't fully Sente, although it's very close to Sente. Black saying, okay, like I can cut here, but you are still alive. So that Ponuki in the center, or I guess on the right side, is too much. Now I do think it's technically some sort of potential when Black um, plays here, but this is probably scary for both sides. So yeah, I understand playing here first. Did you guys hear what I was just- Yeah, so Page didn't want to give uh, White the Ponuki, so goes there first, then White extends, and then block. Tari, yep, and then fix. So I would say this is kind of where the fight has completely died down for the most part. And kind of as you said, White got the thickness and the corner. So what did Black do wrong, if anything? Do you think, Paul?
I think, I
Like,
mean, the move that comes to my mind is I would have probably extended and or Haned the P13 stone after that stone attached. But
okay, I
that's
see. So you're
just
saying
that's
like
just
here, you
me playing, what's normal or expected. But I
Mhm.
guess maybe the attack would have been severe by white. So I
Okay,
don't know.
yeah, that's yeah, because you're still worried about this, right? I
Yeah.
think this is a case where I think Black's not super indebted on the top. I think the right side's what's valuable for Black. Because we can see Black spending a lot of stones to build the right side, which makes sense. So even if you give up some stones up top, like let's say you can Atari here, right? You can White's going to capture the top somehow, but then you can look how you can build the right side on a large scale. Don't play that move though.
Yeah.
Now that I'm looking at it. That's a
Th-
bad move.
th-
Let's go here instead.
this would be more my style.
hmm
What you're showing.
It, is it sacrifice or quote unquote sacrifice stones? Is your
It's
style?
unintentionally sacrificing the stones, but I'm getting a big area anyways.
Yes. Yep. Yeah. Now again, especially in with a Comey game, like giving White this many points is scary, right? Like you're giving White cash in exchange for you potentially getting points on the right. But that the right side looks pretty solid, doesn't it? It looks pretty solid. Um, for me, I think Black needs to Hane and then jump here. I believe this is the Joseki. I think letting White get this jump here at M15 was Black's big problem. Was
Yeah,
Black's
and
big
it
problem.
was White. The White was the one that cut at 016, so maybe White knew more about this Joseki or
Potentially, yeah.
something.
Potentially, yeah. You're 100% right. White was the one who chose this Joseki line, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah. Yeah, because letting white get that's kind of the key. So we can see if black gets that move compared to white, it's kind of the key spot in the shape for both sides. So yeah, because yeah, not only does white attack, but white also gets this extension slash pincer at h17, which is not not valuable, right? It's worth something. Hmm. Tari and then fix, yeah. And we can see how many points has black gained here.
I would argue black lost points.
Black definitely lost potential on the right side, right? So
Yeah.
yeah, I could see you thinking that way. And I don't think, and black's not fully alive up top yet. Technically, black's not fully alive on the right, upper right as well. So yeah, this is very painful for black. I imagine black peeps next, or just plays there. White jumps. Yeah, you can see the way white's playing is so simple, right? Doesn't need to do anything crazy. Just let me jump here. Black pokes. And yeah, now oh my goodness. We get some excitement next. But you see black's just crawling on the second line, right? For comparison, black's last 5 moves were on the second line. You see that?
Pain, pain,
Pain,
pain,
yes.
pain.
Technically 4, my bad, technically 4. But yeah, pain. Line of sadness is the second line, so. But what is this move?
Hopefully, this move gives Paige a chance to come back because maybe this is too aggro. Who knows?
I think it is. I would feel so happy as white with how the game's going that I
I,
would yeah, I don't know. I would just like, just I don't know, just like jump here or something.
if I had to guess, R5 is maybe trying to get some forcing moves on the outside. I can't imagine White's trying to like save that stone at R5.
Exactly, and of course, black's going to cut at p5.
Yeah.
Page losing by only a point. That is surprising, Jay. That is really surprising, honestly. And if that's true, I would still feel comfortable as white here. But yeah, black's gonna go there. So I straight up do not know what white's plan is here. So we'll see. Cut, extend, black Hanes. Yeah, this was a little strange too. Page can play a move like this. This fully captures the 2 stones. There's no Achi, but white has a nice belly of the 2 stones Tetsuji here. Which is basically saying if you push through, you're not really spending moves that make points, and I'm just gonna fix somehow. But if you go elsewhere, I'm able to Atari. And look how nice my shape is compared to playing this one into this one, right?
Yeah, I think White's thought is they wanted to play R5 to get these forcing moves to strengthen that group because maybe White thought before that those stones on the bottom side could be attacked. That's the only
Mhm.
thing I could think of.
Yeah, it's the thing is though, white's created a cut here. Um, and now there's weakness of this jump across as well. Um, whereas there's none of that weakness at all with this kind of shape. Or there is weakness still, but it just feels like white has kind of made black stronger locally to be able to attack white. So
Yeah.
yeah, but white just goes elsewhere. Black invades here. This I'm not so sure about because usually the 3-3s like this, um, you want to play a 3-3 that it's nebulous which way is better for your opponent, right? Whichever way your opponent blocks, you're okay with. But here, which way do you think white blocks? Without knowing the game, Paul, where do you think white blocks?
I'm gonna bet my house on C16.
Yeah, look at
Okay, thank
you.
goodness.
Yeah, so also, Paul, are you keeping track with comments in the chat? I know you're enamored by the game. It looks like we have a comment here.
Yeah, it says black is solid enough everywhere, and white's shape in the center is flexible but has a lot of cuts and peeps.
I think they're
Hmm.
in terms of white actually, or it being a close game right now. I think that's what that's referring
Oh,
to.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I guess you are. Yeah, I guess the lower right is actually quite big now that I look at it. Um, but yeah, I guess I would still just be even if it is close, I would like to be white here.
Also, as white here, I'm kind of thinking, whatever happens here, I want Sente, and then the go fix my cut at O6. I don't know if the cut at O6 is big. Well, maybe it's laddered. I haven't thought about it. Is that a ladder?
It's a
Uh,
ladder, but white can lose the N 3 stone. So I don't know what they play, but let's just say Sente. Or sorry, Sente for black. While the cut directly gets laddered, we can see there's weaknesses if black jumps across like this.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yep. Um, so this is not laddered, and so white would end up losing the stones there. So that's what I would. I agree with you. I would look for something to play, or look for a sequence that gives me Sente in order to play N6.
Yes, I'm not okay. I like that my intuition's right
Yes,
then.
nutrition's getting a lot better. Nutrition's getting a lot better. So yes, white Hanes, and just double Han is okay. Yeah. So the idea with this is my stone at H17 is in such an annoying spot for you. Um, like if you consider, let's take an empty board for example. If we consider we get the same Joseki, obviously it's different circumstance, but like so. What where's the weakness of black's shape there? You would want to play C12, wouldn't you? That's
Yep.
the move to attack black's shape. So that's white's idea is, well, when we finish this Joseki, look where my stone is. My stone is at the perfect spot. And white's taking cash too. White's taking cash too. So yeah, black extends. Hane. Let's extend, yeah. And so we can see, even though black is surrounding that stone, white's potential is bigger than black's potential. So, and this is also very, I'll say mature of white because I would be looking at this top group, this black group here, and I would be saying, okay, that group's not weak. I need to attack it, right? I need to attack for profit. But white just says, I'll let you connect to your stones you just played, but in the process, you're not getting that many points, and I'm getting much more. So I actually like the way white plays here.
I guess white does kind of lose Sente here though, so maybe
White loses a
black.
little bit Sente, but is it Sente? Like, do you think white? I guess the question is, does black need to fix that cut?
Well, I was just thinking, if black cuts at
Mhm,
H16, or white cuts at
mhm. Let's say
H16,
let's say black does cut across, right, and white goes here.
that black could just play H18.
hmm Probably Atari first, but yes,
Yeah.
yeah. hmm And black is still. You need another move to still save the stones. So yeah. And I think technically, um, white can descend because that threatens to connect with a monkey jump to the
Ooh.
to the upper side. The question is, does that affect the life and death? I don't think so. No, I don't think so. So the thing is, though, kind of in a similar vein, if black just fixes here, white needs to connect, and while black has no base now, black is most likely still okay, right? Like white needs to spend another move to save the uh, stone is at 2.
Yeah.
So, yeah, again, I think white just calculated that the left side is going to be enough, even if white loses the stone at N3. Let's see, what does page do?
Yeah, I'm so curious. Okay, push.
Page just pushes. Hmm. Yeah, black should Hane that. Or white should. Oh, white just extends. Okay.
Do you think
Interesting.
black could be thinking about the ladder at the O6 cut?
Oh six. Oh, so the problem with the oh 06 cut is
Just
if
white Atari's up.
well, white Atari's up, that's going to have the same problem as this, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I actually think white will extend here. And in this local position, I think white's stronger than black is.
Hmm.
Because remember, white has this Atari here, basically Sente anytime. It's very hard to ignore
Ah.
this, at least, right? So, yeah, if we imagine the shape realistically looks like this, white looks a lot stronger to me locally than black does.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So now again, if black feels like they need to fight, maybe that is worth more. Because you're right, white could just this is just asking to capture one stone, right? So maybe it's not enough. Maybe black needs a little bit more. But then black comes in. Yes. Um, what do you think of this invasion here? And as somebody said in chat, white is about to enter Byoyomi. So yes.
I mean, this makes sense. Black sees white grow big box. Black invades.
It's like a cat, right? If you see a box, you got to jump in.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. What do you think about the spot though? Like the specific, like if you put yourself in black shoes, if you were looking at this side, what would you be looking at in terms of kind of invasion spots?
Ooh. Um, I'd either be way too timid, like E7, or I'd be like, I am invading full force, like D10 or something. Just be like, I can jump out and you can't
You can
stop
jump
me.
out, yes. Now here's the thing with invasions. Um, E7 is not terrible if you think this is enough to win. And what I mean by that is this would be offering to reduce, right? You're
Yeah.
giving white the left side for exchange for maybe the bottom, right? Um, Page probably felt, Black felt, that left side's too much. That left side's too much for the compensation I get. So that's why Black decided to invade. Now the problem with your move is you're not threatening to make a base. And so, as you said, you have to run into the center, right? And so, this stone has to live by running into the center. Whereas if you play on the third line, while technically you're deeper in, it's easier. Let's say white just turns here. It's easier to make a base, like so. So, that's kind of the idea with this move. And also, the other problem with your move is whenever you invade, and this is true in all scenarios, you need to look for different options, different things to threaten or to potentially play after your opponent plays a move. So, for example, when black goes here, black is threatening to either extend along the side here or seal in up top, right? Black's looking to do two things. Whereas when you play this move, this is what I like to call you're kind of stranded in the ocean. You're just kind of floating. You're not threatening it like if white just takes, let's say, or plays here, you're not looking to threaten much. You're not looking to. You don't have any follow ups to help the stone. Well, where would you play? I bet you would play here, right? This would be your next move.
Yep.
And again, not that it's necessarily bad, but now again you're floating in the center, and yeah, white can attack those stones. And the other thing is, if you do just get a string of stones like this, how many points are you making with them? Not much. Whereas if you can make some points like this, you're at least making points, right? You're making something with these stones. So, yeah. So that's the idea
Wow.
with this move. That's the idea
I
with
feel
this
like you just unlocked something for me, and I think I just immediately increased by 2 levels,
move.
2 ranks.
Two
So
ranks?
thank
Okay,
you.
awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So really, when you're invading, don't really feel as you as the yes, technically you're the weaker stone, right? You're invading where white's strong. But look for the weaknesses or follow-ups that can help you, right? Look for things that can help you in the pretty much is going to happen the fight that's coming, right? The eventual fight. So now white doesn't turn here, which would be my first instinct. The reason why white doesn't is black doesn't need to just go here. Black can play all the way here, which is Sente, and then pull back like this. It's magic, isn't it, Paul?
It's beautiful.
Black's now taken the entire left side. How's that possible? Um, and for those that don't know, this move at 2 is threatening to connect to the corner, which captures those 3 white stones. So, yeah. So white doesn't want to do that for that reason. So does white pincer then? Yeah, white pincers, which again makes sense. Black will probably jump up, attach first, okay, and then jump. Sure, look at that shape too, right? And Yeah, I bet white blocks at c2. Yeah. This is one of those moves that I bet you're thinking right now, Paul. We have this entire board to play, right? Where's the biggest spot on the board? I bet you weren't thinking that's the biggest move. So why is
Well,
it the biggest move, Paul?
well, I mean, it does look like after black pushes c2
If
that
black gets
there's
c2, sure.
like life and death issues for white.
Mhm. Yes.
So
So
I think that's probably why it's big.
yes, it's big because if this was Gote, it would not be big. But the fact that, as you said, this is Sente, because white can probably connect somehow along the bottom or along the side there, but black would be able to take the entire corner. But the other thing is, similarly to when you're invading, excuse me, you need to think about your follow ups. So, one second. Excuse me. If white plays here, this is not only keeping the corner alive, but also has a follow up, right? So, let's say black goes elsewhere. What happens when white captures here? Do you notice black's shape?
White has good endgame.
Good endgame, good attacking moves. Like if black goes elsewhere again, what if white peeps something like this, descends, and can jump out? Not saying white should do this, but the Aji exists, right? So it has to do with the follow ups. So again, it's
Whoa.
not just, okay, black can go here. It has to do with when I cut, again, white won't do this immediately either. But when I cut, that move at G3 is painful. It's super painful. So, yes. So don't get fooled by this. This looks like end game, but this is really middle game because it has to do with the life and death of groups. And there we go, right?
Ooh.
That's what we were
You
saying.
were calling this move for a while.
Yes, and I think it makes sense for black to reduce the left side first and then do it because as we were saying, it looks like the left side is bigger than the bottom, right?
Yeah.
Um, in fact, like let's say black continues something like this. If we assume this kind of move is sente, white doesn't need to push and then do something. White can simply just hane, and it's not a clean cut. You capture white scenario with something like this. So yeah, it makes sense for black to reduce first and then um, get the cut across there. So what do you think white will do here? What do you think white will do? Do you think white continues locally? You think white goes elsewhere? What do you think?
Hmm. If I were white, I would want to play a local move. I liked the Hane you suggested,
Mhm.
but I don't know.
Okay. So you think something like that. So white doesn't go there. The other thing I'm looking at is the left side's not fully connected either. So white could look to play there. Looks like white. Yeah, look at that. White pokes through and cuts. Yeah.
Ooh. Okay, we're probably
Yes.
gonna get a little fight here.
Yes, a little fight. But let me tell you, this fight is because white is looking to affect the bottom side. White's thinking, I'm gonna get some thickness here, and then I can play on the bottom. As opposed to as opposed to starting with this side, right? As opposed to starting this. White's trying to get some thickness first. Hmm. Cut. Tari. Ooh, just push. Yeah, that's a solid move. Look how black's offering white to just. I guess technically you can't ladder, right? So it is interesting. You'll lose a little bit, but the cutting stone's what's important. White just extends. Yeah, the double Hane here is too painful. Like this. It's too painful. Or again, even black starts with this move, and yeah, you can see it just ends pretty badly for white. So white just extends, black jumps, and look at that. Now white starts on this side. Yeah.
Hmm.
So Paul, take. Do you have your notebook? Are you taking notes? Take a note.
I've been taking lots of notes this stream.
Good.
I've already increased 2 ranks, looking to increase a 3rd rank.
Well, you're about to here's your 4th rank right here. This, because imagine this, right? Let's say white started here, right? And then now white needs to live locally, right? Later, if white tries to play here, depending on what happened on the bottom, black could just say, "Okay, you can have 1 stone," right? It's not worth it to me. So it's very similar to when white Haned here and then attached here. Do you remember that sequence?
Yep.
The idea is before I decide what I want to do here, I'm going to see how you play here first. A lot of Go is asking your opponent questions and then depending on what they say, giving an answer, I guess. So if you can make your opponent ask more questions than you, it's kind of it's almost backwards thinking. You would think if your opponent is answering questions, they have an advantage, but honestly, if they are answering questions, you have the advantage because you can play accordingly. So play there, yep, jump. Now white Hanes, black extends, yep, and white attach. Hey, look at that shape. And again,
Wow.
this
You predicted that whole sequence.
yes, because it's again a lot of Go is also just do you know your shapes? So I've seen this shape maybe not millions of times, but maybe thousands, and it's just attach, just attach. Because you might think to kick, right? Because it makes a tiger's mouth and um, all that goodness. But when black stands up, that is hurting white shape and helping black shape.
Yeah,
Like
white
white
looks a little
has to push,
cramped.
yes, and yeah, white shape, as you said, is cramped. Whereas when you attach here, if black pushes, connect, again, if you push through here, this is very similar to that variation I was showing with where you recommended black attached early on. And if white bumps, just stand up. It's the same exact idea. Is black pushing through is helping me connect. So black doesn't want to do that. So black peeps once, that makes sense, and probably Hanes, yep. Because the difference is if you Hane, then white will go here. It's slightly different now, right? The
Yeah.
key is when you kick first, look at black's liberties. Oh my goodness. Black has so many liberties. Whereas now, black does not have a lot of liberties now. So that's why black peeps first and then Hanes. hmm White will probably what would I do here? There's a few options. You can maybe connect. The question is, does that threaten to cut directly? Um, Looks like according to white, no. But that would be the first move I would think of. If black had to connect, then I can jump out and we can see like white's gonna be okay here. You could also just stand up again. Because again, if you ever push, that's okay. I'm okay with you pushing, but see what white does. Oh my goodness. White says, aha, counterattack. Wow. Wow, wow, wow.
Hmm.
Yes.
I can feel white's power.
Yeah, this is good. This is really good. Um, but the question is this the fight black needed though? Is the fight white needed? Right? That's
Well,
we'll
yeah,
we'll
if
see.
black was losing, I guess we don't exactly know,
Mhm.
then I would be happy as black to be like, "Oh, now I've got a
You got a
target."
chance, yeah. Because as somebody said earlier, white's not fully white shape is nice on the right side, but white is not fully alive yet. So white connects. Yep. Black stands up. White cuts. This is just for Aji purposes. Black Ataris. Yep. And then yeah, go elsewhere. Yep. White peeps. And I actually agree with black here. I
Yeah.
would keep trying to attack on a large scale. I would maybe jump like this. Because here's what's nice is this group. This Hane is so painful anytime.
Yeah, because black can't play Q2, right? Because
No,
then a top.
cannot.
Yeah.
Yeah, like so. So black has to take. White can extend here, and so white's basically alive on the bottom completely. with that Hane. So white doesn't need to ask so tightly, like, "Oh, are you gonna let me connect?" Because remember, these are the cutting stones, right? So black says those two stones aren't important to me. Yeah, black cut blocks. And this also forces white. We see white Ataris, but as we showed, if you
Oh, now P2 is no longer
now
an
he's
option.
gone exactly. So it almost forced black to play here, which and I agree with white. Like white really can't let black push through here, even if it keeps the Aji of P3 alive or P2 alive. It's just not.
Yeah, white could literally die on the top
Yes, exactly.
or the middle.
So yeah, white really can't let that Hane at L6 happen. So I really think white has to extend. Yeah. Even if you think your left side's or right side's in more danger, this Atari is too painful. Because remember, white has Z stones. So if white can live, right? If white just fixes somehow, or black fixes. White can live here. This is no problem. But all of a sudden, look at that. Those
Bam.
two stones are so weak. They're so weak. So yeah, white has to play there to keep the fight going. hmm White extend, sure. This is so white can play J6. hmm Um, yeah. And the purpose of extending once more is if you play now, the difference is now you don't get M2 later. It's not complete Sente. Whereas by extending once more, whatever black plays, I oh, black doesn't go there, but whatever black ends up playing, this move is still threatening. So
Mm.
yeah. But yeah, this is you need to because how likely, Paul, and you can say not very likely, but how likely were you to play at K6?
Uh, I'll say 42% likely.
Okay, okay. Hey, I think nowadays the grading system, I think 40% is C. I think now, and I'm not even joking. So we take those.
I'm
uh,
so interested, like,
mhm,
before this whole fight started, White started with the cuts, and you said that that might help the fight.
mhm.
I'm almost interested, like, if the F8 stone is relevant at all. Uh,
So it's relevant because, but the thing is, black's not playing into the relevancy, if that makes sense. We will actually see it will most likely come into play because notice how black's weak here, but white is starting to connect back to these stones, which is valuable. Like let's see if I can do this. Look at the board. If the board looked like, oh gosh,
will I grade my students 40% a C? Gotta get students first, you know?
gotta get serious first. Yeah, look at the board here.
Yeah, I
Who
mean,
looks?
K6 does threaten to turn and attack that group and stuff.
Yeah, it's black's going to though. Um, Threaten this side first. So the idea is by making all those moves first, um, now white doesn't have any allies to run towards. This is all black's thickness. Because again, if white tried to do this now, black's not going to let white have it, right? Black could just pull back if black wanted to.
Yeah.
So yeah.
It seems like White wanted to, play 04 or whatever to fight, but it seems like that now seems like a mistake. I don't know.
Yeah, I going back to that. And what were we saying? That cut there, you wanted to fix it, didn't you?
Yes, I did.
You wanted to fix it. Yeah. Um I think what White was thinking was if I have a weak group on the bottom anyways, if black is just connected, I have two weak groups and black has no weak groups. So I may as well cut here so that black has a weak group there. I think the main problem was this peep. I think white should just keep attacking it on a large scale. White doesn't need to go after just the two stones there.
Mm,
Because again, this move helps black. It hurts white's right side.
yeah.
And this move hurts white because again, white could earlier play P2.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Extend, yep. But yes, going back to this move, you have to look for being efficient. You have to look for being efficient. So yeah, black says, even though this move captures, what's bigger, the right side or the bottom side? The right side. So yeah, this is a very nicely timed peep. Very nice. Um, I think black should or white should play here. Uh, with the idea being you can't cut, of course. You get captured, and if you extend, I can connect back. Um, whereas if you just connect, yeah, you can see white's shape is starting to get pretty bad. Starting to get pretty bad. Um, yeah.
Hello, Suganitas.
I was like, what do you say? Yes, exactly. A wild techno. Yeah, M7 helped black seal white in. So yeah, they're talking about this move here. It helped seal white in. So mhm. Yeah, white has to connect and then the Hane. Yeah, this is painful. Apparently, people think of resignation is coming soon. We'll see what's happening. White cuts. Um. So white can. Okay, I see. So white, if white connects, the problem for white is okay. Hold on. Okay. So if black, yeah, white would get captured here somehow. Yeah, because white doesn't have enough liberties to fight this. So yeah, white has to just Hane underneath, as we saw. Extend, connect, Hane, yeah, and white jumps out, yeah. So yeah, I think you're right, Paul. I think white should not have done this cut that you were saying. Yeah, this looks very dangerous. I think though white can play here. This helps. This will help white a lot if white can play here.
Man, if only Alyssa could have phoned a friend for like a move or two.
There might be a way to refute it, but I don't think so. Like Hane, I extend. My shape looks at least a lot better than in the game, right? We can at least say that much. Play there, yeah. Connect. White jumps out. Yeah, white's not even bothering to save the 5 stones because if you save them, you don't even have an eye, and there is a cut here, but black's gonna fix that while attacking. Black's going to like play here, and now, yeah, your whole group is dying. White jumps. Ooh, ouchie. Uh huh.
Oh my. White
Yes.
has, I think, 0 eyes.
Yeah. It's somewhere around there. Not many.
Not many eyes. I mean,
Oh,
that F13 stone isn't too far away,
it's
but
not too
obviously
far
White's got to
away.
connect
White's
because of
got to
the
connect
peep.
exactly. Yes. Like even if white can save the tail, it's not going to be enough. Um, even if white gates compensation on the bottom, this entire right side is huge. We're talking. Remember that box you were talking about?
Yeah, it came back.
It came back.
We
Yes.
had we didn't believe in Paige, but Paige knew all along.
Well,
She
you.
was
I
just
know
waiting to
you
fight
believed in
for it.
Paige the whole time.
She viewed that as her territory the whole time.
I guess so. I guess so. Yeah. White connects. Yeah. The point of this connection is white's looking to make. It's basically saying, "Are you alive in the upper right?" Like if white does something like this. Um, but I think the answer is yes, right? Yeah. Um, so that won't help. Tari connect. I bet Paige goes there. Nope. Just sure. Take away Liberty, Hane. Um, oh, just Hane first. Okay, that is interesting. Yeah, this is will be another though, I versus no I. Um, so the problem with I versus no I is these two shared liberties are going to be White's bane, and Black has two outside liberties because Black needs to or White needs to fill R18 first. So if White needs to connect, just take away an outside liberty, I guess.
Oh, I see. We're
Okay.
back to
Yeah,
or
we've
we've
actually caught
have
up.
caught up to the
Yes.
game live.
And as people are saying, yeah, N12 is crazy. Yeah, we'll go back to that in a second. Paul, I know you gotta keep track of the comments for for chat for me. But yeah, if we just like take away liberties, we can see White can never. Although it's maybe I've done something wrong, but yeah, no, because of that White's down by one liberty. So yeah, which move? N12. What was N12? Yeah, N12. What a shape! What a shape!
Oh, it looks like Alyssa
Oh yeah, they're not in the game anymore.
resigned,
Yeah, they're not.
making Paige the winner.
Congratulations, Paige. Congratulations, Ohio, as well. Um,
Let's go, Ohio! I mean, unbiased commentator.
you're allowed
Ohio
to. You're
is
allowed
a
to.
place.
Yeah, yeah. This move is quite crazy. What this move is? Would you say Sugar Dintas? Is that how you say it?
You
Um,
could just say sugar.
Sugar
Yeah.
is when you are this strong locally, and we can see Black has a lot of stones nearby. Black can just look to connect to these stones, look to connect to here. So White can't um really fight back. Like if you Hane, I'm gonna Hane. Actually, I wouldn't Hane. Maybe you even can Hane. Basically, I think White can live with this, but again, I think Black's gained enough from this fight, so it might be too much. Um, but yeah, when you're this strong, and especially White jumped with two spaces in the center, that's very risky. So, but yeah, any final thoughts or questions, Paul? This is your chance.
Well,
What?
yeah, I've gained roughly 3 ranks from listening to this
Are you six
commentary.
down age or Fox now?
Yeah, I'm
Is
gonna
that your next
be
stream?
Fox like 5 Dawn. It's very soon, I'm sure now. That I have listened to all the truths of the game. So that I like that.
Hmm.
I'm happy for Paige.
Hmm.
But I do know that New York City has a secret
Yes,
weapon,
yes.
that they've been storing away
Yeah.
for months now, like many months. But Alan is waiting, and
Yes,
one other.
Alan.
I mean, let's not discount the other, but we've got a powerhouse waiting for New York
Apparently,
City.
it's just Alan left according to chat earlier.
Oh, well, if it's just
So
Alan left, then we've got 2 left for, Columbus to try the
yes,
knockdown a Giants, so it'll be
yes.
exciting to
I
watch.
believe Alan is officially 8 on AGA, right? Something like that.
Yeah.
Um, super strong. I know he plays in the Masters at Go Congress. So, one more point I want to make about this game is if we go way early on, uh, it's kind of crazy how we were talking about how like this group is while floating it has a nice shape, it can't die, right? One kind of subtle point of this is when White chose this variation here, White made Black stronger here, right? Black made White stronger here. And so that meant Black was able to, at the end, go all out because Black is 100% alive here.
Ah,
Whereas if White had chose a more simplistic variation that doesn't let Black connect, like let's say something like this, and while it is Gote, we can see Black's not fully alive up top now. And so Black wouldn't be able to attack as severely later on. So yeah. Um
and
yeah,
maybe
so
White can fix the cut
yeah,
at N6.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I
Exactly.
like this for White as well.
Mhm. Because if Black does cut now, like the left side's actually quite profitable now.
It's still big.
It's still big, and now you can even attack black on the top as well. So yeah. But yeah, is that anything else from anyone from chat? That's what I was thinking too. Then yeah, yeah. If you're referring to letting black connect, yes. Um, one last what do you call it? Nugget of information. What do you call it? Truths.
Yeah, truth.
Is the strength of stones is relative to the nearby enemy stones, and that is true in almost all cases. Where I would view white as stronger than black if we look at these uh, two groups here, right? I would view white stronger than black, but as soon as black got stronger, that made white weaker. Ever so subtly, but it did make white weaker. So yeah. Okay. Finally, we got a shill, of course. Paul. I have a YouTube channel at the Ohio Ghost School on YouTube. Check it out if you like my commentary. I do commentaries on my tournament games, and I do live commentary on online games too. Paul, where can they find you?
Yeah, I like this game, and I stream on Twitch at midnighttheblue.twitch.tv from time to time. So if you want to check out my stream, Midnight
You've
the
been on the
Blue.
grind recently, though. You've been streaming a lot.
True. It's probably going to slow down because I'm getting busy, but
Okay.
still trying to keep the stream alive.
Yes. Awesome. Oh, and also we have to shout it out, of course. Midwest Open, right? Midwest Open
Yeah, it's coming up.
is coming up in. I don't have my watch on. Well, in about 3 weeks, a little over 3 weeks. It'll be in Columbus, Ohio. The streamer who owns this channel, Jay, he's actually running. He's the TD for that event. So, yeah, I think if you look up what Badoo Club, if you look up Midwest Open, you'll find it. You'll find it. So, yeah, I will most likely be there. I'm sure Paul will definitely be there. I'm hoping to be there at least. So, yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Come from wherever you are.
Yes.
We accept you. If you're from
Yes. It's a 2 day
California,
event. It's a two
from
day event.
Canada,
Canada, yes.
from Hawaii, anywhere,
Even Hawaii, yes.
So,
Yeah, there it is. Thank you, Katie. But yeah, now it's on Paul. It's on Jay now to end the stream now. So thank you, everyone. And yeah,
yeah,
cool.
thanks for watching, guys. It was fun.
Yes. Hopefully Jay is there. Okay. Whew.
No Cincinnati people. Ew, Cincinnati.
There won't be any Cleveland.